how ready for the pool I am. So ready for the pool. And I walk down to the pool and there's 3 grown men cleaning it and they're the only men there and no one else is like laying out or anything. So I don't even know if it was officially closed or if I would just have to be there laying out with 3 grown men, and the vibes were off. I'm so bummed. I was gonna read my new book. I finished the one I was reading. We'll talk about those later though. And I also had a new kombucha, a flavor I've never tried before, pomegranate power, that I was going to try out there, and it was gonna be in the sun and it was gonna be so fun. But it was not meant to be. Anyways, you could be thinking, Anna, what are you doing trying to go lay out by the pool at 3:15 on Tuesday afternoon? You didn't know what time it was, so maybe you weren't thinking that. But I had a short day at jail today, so because I'm not working at this upcoming weekend, then I had to fit an extra half day in during the week, and so today was my half day. I went to jail Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yesterday, Monday, and then just went Tuesday, and here we are. I do have tomorrow off though, which I am excited for. I work my second job tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night, so there's a lot of things going on today, this week, and you'll get to see them all. I figure I'm just gonna change back into regular clothes and like lay on the couch for a second and read, because that was what my goal was to do, have a little self-care moment and everything. So I'll still do that, just bummed that it's not outside at the pool.
I know I still remember. You can't have gone away. Your face is all that matters. Oh, I'm alone in the sequence again.
I just can't even lie. After that last clip you saw of me, I sat there and read for probably maybe 4 to 5 minutes, and that might be generous with myself, before I just totally passed out, which I guess shows that I needed it, because it probably was like, I think it was like a 35 or 40 minute nap, which it's been a long time since I napped. Naps used to be like an everyday occurrence and I loved it, but it's been a while. So that's a good start to my busy month is already being this exhausted. Not getting to lay out by the pool like I wanted to, getting home and just passing out. But I just finished teaching for the night and it went fine. 3 hours felt long. I don't think I've mentioned it yet. I've mentioned it in previous videos for sure, but this is my first week that I'm teaching Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So, you know, it just takes some mustering up to do, but I mean, it'll be fine because it's not the most exhausting thing. And what's nice too is like by now I know the content. Back in January when I was starting, I was just like anxious because I thought people were gonna ask questions I didn't know and stuff like that. Whereas now I feel pretty confident in it. So it's all good. I'm gonna get to bed though, so that hopefully tomorrow I'm less than today. And I can't decide if I want to tell you or just let you see. Tomorrow's my haircut that I decided I'm gonna cut a lot of my hair off. I don't even for sure know why, and I don't even for sure know that I'm convinced that I want to, but the fun thing about hair is that it always grows back, but somehow I convince myself like, oh, if I cut it short, it's not gonna grow back, but it definitely will, and I think it'll be fun to kind of just switch things up a bit. We'll see. I'm already second guessing it again. Heck, we'll see what I do.
I know you still remember. You can't run away again.
If anyone has sunscreen recommendations, I need some because I'm out of the one I've used. I don't dislike it at all, but that's the only one I've ever used for my face regularly, so always good to branch out and see if you like something else better. But happy Tuesday. You would not believe the amount of work that I have done on the computer so far today, both with YouTube and then a little bit of my second job as well. I've been working, and I know I kind of always say this, but now especially there are some really cool things coming, and so if you're not subscribed and part of this little community, definitely do so because you're not going to want to miss them. And then also make sure you're following me on Instagram because a lot of the stuff will be shown there first, and I'm very excited for all of it. So just make sure you're around so you can see all the things that I've been planning, coming up with, etc. But today is haircut day. You would not believe, or maybe actually really would believe, how indecisive I have been over this haircut that I'm about to get, because it's been scheduled since March. Whenever I did my last haircut, it was literally in a vlog. Last haircut didn't do anything. It was just like, just make my hair healthy. I want to keep it long. And now it's grown out real long again. And probably about a month ago, I started getting really sick of my long hair. I was like, it keeps being on my neck. I keep having to brush this boy out, like working out and everything. It just gets in the way. It feels so hot. And then all of a sudden, like a week ago, I fell back in love with it. So I was like, well, now I can't cut my hair short because I like it long again. Indecisive. Zach has been about ready to walk out on me based on the amount of times. Should I cut it short? Should I keep it long? Actually, I think I'm gonna cut it short. short. No, I'm for sure keeping it long. But unless I chicken out in the chair, I do plan on doing a relatively significant chop today. It's kind of exciting. I always do my makeup before getting my hair cut because I mentioned it before, but you know that wet rat look that you have after they wash your hair and then you're sitting with the little cape all up to here and you're just staring at deep into your soul in the mirror? I need to not be barefaced for that moment in particular, in specific. I'm gonna see though, I'm gonna try to do a little like clean girl look, and I'm gonna try not to use mascara. So I've been using, and I mentioned it in a previous video, but I've been using this a.bea.s serum since mid to late May. So it's been about 2 months now, and whoa, so up close and personal. My eyes are kind of red because I'm still sleepy, but can you tell, like, my eyelashes did not used to look like this. To the point where now when I put on mascara, sometimes I'm like, whoa, that's intense. And so I'm gonna see, we'll just see what I whip up as we're talking. I think I've already mentioned this. If not, you probably could have assumed that today is Wednesday and I have the day off, except as soon as I go to my haircut, it's kind of busy for the rest of the day. So I have my haircut at 1, and then I have a call at 3 that kind of relates to all the stuff I was telling you about why you want to subscribe. And so I'm very excited for that. And then I teach tonight because we're in my heck of a month teaching 4 times a week. So it's nothing too crazy, but it just feels like once the ball gets rolling for the day, it's gonna keep on rolling until it's time to sleep again. I did want to tell you guys, because I know I mentioned him before, but I did finish this book that I started last week, Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. Basically, it's the first book I've ever read that incorporated COVID. So a little bit was kind of nostalgic of it because it's not like emotional, like I don't feel like it was doing too much, but you remember the early lockdown days in March 2020, April 2020, all of that. And it definitely takes place in that time. And it's about a girl who has a vacation planned with her partner, her long-term partner, and they're going to the Galapagos, but then like the day before they leave, he's a surgical resident, so he learns that he can't leave the hospital. It's all hands on deck because all of the COVID things that are starting to happen. But she still goes to the Galapagos, and obviously when she gets there, it locks down, and so she's meeting people. It really made me want to take a trip to the Galapagos. She's meeting people, getting to know families there, getting to know wildlife there, and learning how to slow down and everything, which I thought it was going to be kind of a slow-paced, emotional book, and I'm just not going to lie to you, there was a twist that I never saw coming. And so this kept me on my toes for sure. You have to be a little bit patient with it because it does begin and kind of just feel like, oh, okay, cool, like New York City girl is learning how to live her life slow and appreciate each moment, but it hooks you. It hooks you. That's what I'm going for. So now I'm reading A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey William, and that one's about a girl whose father was convicted with, I believe, the killing of like 3 girls or something whenever she was a child and they were teenagers. And so she's like grown up having to cope with that, and we see her as an adult now, and she's a psychologist now. And in the summary, I'm not that far into it, but in the summary it talks about how there's going to be some girls that start going missing that maybe show some resemblance to the previous cases that her father was accused of. And so I don't for real know where it's going to head, but I am kind of excited to see where it's going to head. This is me pretend curling my eyelashes. Why buy things when you just have fingers instead? Did it work? I don't know. I really have never loved them so much though. The serum I use is always linked down in the description if you're ever curious and want to check it out. And they did lower their prices recently too. So I forget now what it is, but this has lasted me for at least 2 months. I think maybe it's a 3-month supply. My inspo pictures for what I'm going to show him. If y'all know Katie Bellotti, she has her hair kind of short right now. So I think I'm going to show him that and this one too. Those are the vibes that we're going for. Hopefully it looks as good on me as it does others. I'm just going to put on mascara. After all that talk, it's that wet rat feeling that I want to avoid. I'm going to leave a little bit early to get to my appointment because it's in Virginia Highlands where I go to get my hair cut, and so it's in a cute little like strip where there's bookstores and various kind of cool things that I figure I can give myself like an extra second to kind of wander around and then head on in to be haircutted. Let me do a little middle part and then I'm done. See, the thing is, even now I'm like, oh, I like long hair, but the thing is, it's gonna grow back. I just keep stressing myself out with like, but what if it doesn't? So, it definitely will. y'all doing? I'm so bummed I forgot to take any kind of B-roll footage, to be honest. I'm so bummed. So let's take a moment, we'll imagine it together. Oh, I went to Virginia Highlands. I stopped in Virginia Highlands bookstore. It was so beautiful in there and they had so many good books and little comfy chairs, and I just didn't take any kind of video of it at all because I forget that I have a little part-time job here with the tube apparently whenever I'm out in public. And then I went to go to my little salon, got a little chop. And if you can notice, there's not really any hair left here. And I do like it so far, I think. It'll take some getting used to for sure, but another part I won't like is if it starts doing the shoulder flip thing, you know, where I'll kind of start to resemble this. But I have about 15 minutes right now before my big important call today, and I want to show you because I did get a book at Virginia Highlands bookstore, and I got it because it's an author who lives in Atlanta, and they had a little sign that said Atlanta author, and I was like, oh cool. And then I looked up on Goodreads, this was rated like 4.3 stars, and so I was like, okay, it sounds good. And since I've started getting into scary books, thought okay, sounds good. But it's called The Silent Wife, and like I said, this is an Atlanta author, so she has so many, like she's been apparently publishing for forever, so I really hope that I like her because then I can just read all of them. But responding to a killing during a riot inside a state penitentiary, GBI investigator Will Trent is confronted with disturbing information. One of the inmates claims that he is innocent of a brutal attack for which he has always been the prime suspect, and that he was framed by a corrupt law enforcement team led by Jeffrey Tolliver. If this is true, a serial killer who has been systematically preying on women across Georgia for years is still out there. Only days ago, another young woman was viciously murdered in a state park. Could it be the same killer? If Will reopens the investigation and implicates the dead police officer with the hero's reputation of wrongdoing, the opportunistic convict will provide crucial information about the riot murder. Yet nearly a decade has passed. Time for memories to fade, witnesses to vanish, and evidence to disappear. His best chance of discovering the truth might lie with the person he doesn't want involved, his girlfriend and Jeffrey Tolliver's widow, medical examiner Sarah Linton. When the past and present begin to collide, Will realizes that everything he values is at stake. I can really see it going either way. But apparently with Will, who was mentioning, there's like 20 or so different books of him. So it's not for real a series because it's not like you have to read them in order or anything, but it's the same characters. And so I'm excited for it. It definitely is long, so we'll just have to see about that. But I am excited for it. I'm gonna have to get a little snicker snack because now I have 10 minutes until my call, which should be exciting. I'm very excited for it, really. I've realized that it's a little funny of me sometimes whenever I'm doing work week in the lives, whenever I skip Monday like I did this week. Really, my work week in the life, we're starting on my off days because yesterday I didn't start before I went to jail. So it's like a weekend plus work, but I find that's kind of more fun because truly if it's a straight work week in the life, work week in the life, not that it's boring, but since I can't vlog during the day, it just becomes different, you know? So I do kind of like the Tuesday, Wednesday weekend thing that I have going on because it allows for more work week vlog content because the work week is different for my little part-time get up. But let me eat so my stomach is not a rumbling while I'm on this very important call. And I'm really excited to start that book, but I'm in the middle of the other one. Actually, I'm not even that far into the other one, but it's from the library, so it's gonna have to get returned. But I really want to start that one. Dilemmas. If this is the biggest dilemma that happens in my day though, then I'm okay. Actually, the biggest dilemma was whether or not to cut my hair short, but it ended up being fine, so. My old hair couldn't do this. All right, I'm gonna eat. I just popped off my call and I just want to reiterate how exciting it is, and I feel like you guys are going to be very excited as well. And so since the official announcement isn't in this video, just be on the lookout because it'll be definitely coming up. So today is August 3rd and the video that I film on August 8th will be the one where the announcement is. And so not sure yet quite how long it'll be before they get posted, but very exciting things in the work. Look, I have my whole snack I made myself here that I didn't actually put together because I took too long before the call started. I just toasted some everything bagel buns and I'm gonna put vegan cream cheese and tomatoes on them while I don't even know what I'm gonna do with the rest of my day yet. I teach at 6 and it's 3:30 right now, so I have some time. We'll figure it out.
A broken down old staircase, repeating pictures at ease, growing far from the new you, the closer to memory.
Hey, happy Thursday. It is after work right now. I'm absolutely melting in the Georgia heat, and I also still teach tonight till 6 to 9, and it's about 4:30 right now, so I have about an hour and a half in which I can eat rinsed the sweat off of me, and honestly, just can't even lie, it was a super overwhelming day at work today. And so tonight it's gonna be coping central, and we'll see what happens. Obviously my plan is like tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, I'll definitely check back in and let you know how I'm feeling. But this is probably it for the vlog for today, just because busy, not a lot of time, and like I said, really overwhelming day. So catch y'all in a bit.
It's not a bad new feeling, but it's tearing apart.
Alright, hello. It is 6 p.m. so we'll go ahead and get started. But just a few little admin things before we jump into content for today.
Oh, please help me conceive a new idea of you, a new idea of me inside this or inside this dream.
Hey! Alright, far enough removed from a bad day to talk about it. I don't know, whenever vlogging during a week, it's like I never want to only show good things about the profession, especially because I know that a lot of people here either like are entering or soon to be entering the field or choosing to enter the field, which is so awesome, and obviously you know I love it, but it's like then I want to just hype it up even more because it's like this is such a fun job to have, and like you can work anywhere and you get to connect with people and all of this stuff. But then I also want to be real, but I don't want to just always be like negative, and so I try to be authentic, you know, but I also feel like sometimes I feel guilty for having like bad days because I don't want to skip over them, I don't want to gloss over them because that's not real, but then I also don't want to scare anyone away, you know, of like, because there's going to be bad days any type of job that you have. But yesterday, I think what the big issue was, because you know, like I'm new at this job, I'm too new to have like my passion for the work be burnt out. I am definitely not at that point. Like I absolutely adore my clients, the kids on my caseload, like the passion for them is very high. I think the part that gets me is whenever you're working in a broken system, and kind of no matter where you are, you're going to be working in a broken system, some more glaringly so than others, but whether that's foster care, the justice system, the education system, whatever it is, everything's a system, and obviously nothing about them is perfect. And I think those are the parts that really get me, is whenever it's like I have this passion for this work that I'm trying to do, and it's like sometimes it just feels like you can be reaching dead ends where it's like you have to try to convince people why your work is necessary, or why, like, no, I was hired to do this job because it's important, but sometimes there's just dead ends in the system, you know. And like obviously no matter where you are, you'll be working with people who have all different kinds of backgrounds and all different kinds of now job descriptions and roles and values and beliefs. And I think that's what makes it hard, is because I think yesterday, and this was the metaphor I was just thinking of as I was like in the shower just now. It's Friday, by the way. We jumped a whole 24 hours, if not a little bit more. In the shower, I was just thinking, you know, like how people say, oh, like you can get burnt out, like burnt out's the phrase. I always think of that as like a burnt out candle, you know, like there's the candle, you have your little flame, and if you don't take care of that little flame, the little flame, look, this is my little flame, the little flame burns out and just slowly fizzles. And I feel like for me, what the hard days are now is like my little flame of passion is still blowing like this, but it's like there's just big gusts of winds that are trying to blow it out. Maybe that's dramatic. But it's just like, those are the hard parts definitely of this profession. And I felt it whenever I was in school, and like whenever I was interning in an elementary school, because like that's not perfect. I'm feeling it now, and obviously if I let myself feel the weight of the entire world on my shoulders, then like that's how you get burnt out, or start to feel like, oh well, this is pointless anyways, because what good is it even going to do if everything's always going to be sucky? And so I do want to kind of shift the narrative, and I do have some things that I do feel like can help me sometimes, obviously not every day, but you know, help manage the pushback, kind of keep the passion alive. One thing is definitely just connecting with clients and recognizing, especially in my role in the detention centers, that any interaction that I have with clients can be a quote-unquote therapeutic one, even if it's just a smile, or like teasing them as I walk by, or like truly checking on them, or if it actually is in a session, or crisis intervention. Like, no matter what scale of interaction it is, it's always so important to remember that social workers are humans first. And so there are lots of times where it's like, no, I'm just interacting human to human, and like that is a good thing, and that is pushing a good thing in this world, is that like two people are interacting, and no matter the situation that the kid is in, hopefully I can bring some sort of source of joy, or like some sort of happiness, humanity, empathy, respecting them, dignity, whatever it is, like just treasuring each of my interactions with the boys that I work with, because that's what's important, like that human to human. Like, I just happen to be a human trained in mental health and social work, but regardless, the small pockets of joy, Another thing that I think can lots of times help me, and this is kind of where I slipped up yesterday, is, like I said, obviously all sorts of systems need all sorts of work, but I have learned that I really can't think about that while I'm like physically actually at work. Because, for instance, like prison reform, I'm definitely a huge believer in prison reform, and that's coming from someone who's employed by the justice system. But that's not something that I can think about while I'm there doing my job, because while I'm there doing my job is to be supportive of the kids who are currently in there, and there's really not much that I can do to change laws or anything through the scope of my profession. Obviously, like advocacy and everything, social organizing, just whatever it is, can definitely take a part of, but while I'm at my job, I can't let myself feel the weight of all of the brokenness of the whole system, because that just becomes crushing, and it makes it harder to be with the clients who are actually in front of me. And so honestly, I think that's where I slipped up yesterday, is just through various like things and mindsets I was having and all of this stuff, I just started to feel the whole weight of the system on me. And then it became harder, because it's like, oh, I want to fight for these clients and I want to do all of this, but I can't because it's so broken. But you can't think about that while at work, is what I have learned. I can think about it now, and it hits different now, but like physically being in there in a time where I'm supposed to be there with my clients, it's different, And then the last thing that I think is the most important thing that does help through like the hardness of it, is I always have a planting seeds mindset. And this is something I've been like mentioning to my coworkers too. Like, it's a phrase that I say multiple times every day, but the fact of the matter is, no matter what I do with these kids, most likely I'm not going to see the full fruition of it, right? So like through counseling or through just the positive interactions that I already mentioned, however it is, I just have to keep in mind that I'm planting seeds, because lots of times improvements or like some great outcome to some great story, you just really aren't there to see, especially because a lot of my kids are more short-term type of relationships, as they come in and out, and then back in and then back out, and then back in and then back out, or whoever it is, whatever the situation is. But I just have to know that the positive regard I'm having for them, the therapeutic relation that I'm having with them, the counseling that we're working on, whatever it is, I just imagine it's planting seeds. And whether or not I see them actually grow, I just know that they're there. I know that they listened and they put in the work while they were with me. And obviously, like, when you're 14, when you're 15, you're not going to be your most grown self. And so it's just, I have to hold on to hope for them in the future that whatever they feel like is their best life, they will eventually get there, even if it seems like there can be little losses throughout the days, which is again the system coming back to affect them and how it all works. But remembering the human to human interactions, not letting the whole weight of the world be on your shoulders at once while at work, and then also just keeping that planting seeds mindset are all things that are definitely helpful to me whenever the job starts to feel heavy, those kinds of feelings. But as I mentioned, it's Friday. Today was a great day at work. Today really was a great day. The situations were all the same, but I just was able to cope with it in a different way than yesterday. And I went and walked for like 50 minutes on the treadmill and was reading my book, and I am looking forward to just laying on the couch and reading my book for the rest of the night, because starting tomorrow, so I guess maybe even today, is my first weekend off in about 6 weeks, which is very exciting, because as you know, I've been doing the 2 facilities, and so some weekends I'm at my home one, some weekends I'm at my extra help one, and it's been every single weekend that I'm at one of them or the other. And so I am very excited to have a weekend off. I know I've mentioned so much that August is my busy month, and it really seems like come September my life is gonna drop a lot in like the busyness factor of it, which I am excited for, because I won't be providing extra help anymore, at least as of right now. So assuming that that stays consistent, I won't be providing extra help anymore at the other facilities, so it'll just be weekends at my own, and it's not just every other weekend. It's kind of a funky rotation, but it's less frequent than every other weekend at my home facility. And as of right now, I don't have any new tutoring classes scheduled. So I have the one that's going to end at the end of August, and then one is just once a week, and it continues through September. But once a week after doing 4 times a week is going to feel like nothing. So that's some light at the end of the tunnel for sure, because it is what, August 5th right now. I know this video is going to get posted a little bit later than that, but August 5th right now, and I'm already feeling like, whew, August has been one for sure. Anyway, my memories came up today, and a year ago today I was in Hawaii, so go watch my Hawaii videos so you can relive that experience with me. When we last year's August, I started off in Hawaii, and then I came back just barely, and then I went to St. Simon's Island with my family, and then I came back and I was just like off chilling because it was before grad school started. What a time. It's all vlogged, so you can go watch it all, but what a time. Life is good now though, and I am, like I said, very much looking forward to the free time that comes with this weekend. So I'm gonna go read my book. I will start a new vlog. The goal is tomorrow, the plan is tomorrow, but as we know, that doesn't always happen, so we'll see. Probably tomorrow though, for my little fun weekend off, so we can have a little non-social work related content on here. It's been a little social work heavy recently, and I'll see you next time.